Hi, this is Shoshana Shea of BeAHappyMom.com, and in today's video I'd like to share a tip for mothers and also for occupational therapists. This particular tip for occupational therapists or for students is particularly if you're working in a department where you have limited equipment and you're needing to come up with ideas of things to improve skills for your clients. In this particular video, we're going to be looking at improving fine motor coordination, specifically the pincer grip, and also something to do with money management. So let's go on to the other side of the video and I'll show you what this is about. So here we are on the other side of the camera, and I'd like to show you a couple of examples of what one can do with a container from recycling or reusing any containers you get, for example, from tablets or vitamins. You get them in various different sizes. You can select the size that you want. A charity box, some assortment of coins, and an assortment of buttons. So let's take away the buttons for a minute, and we're going to discuss what the potential is that one can do with this. This container, to begin with, you can decorating the container and the charity box, both of them can be an activity. The container that's reused from the medication, I've covered with some recycled wallpaper that I had some offcuts of, and it's covered with clear contact. The charity box, there are many different ways in which you can decorate both of them. You can paint them. You can, in this case, we've stuck different types of stickers on, and both of these forms of decorating the containers uses fine motor skills. If you think of how one takes off a sticker from its peel it off from the paper, and then you put it on to its particular place, and if you want to try and get it symmetrical, or you want to have any kind of a design, that's going to be using perceptual skills as well as fine motor skills. Obviously, painting or using any other kind of decoration could also be used. This container I obtained from a craft store. They're very inexpensive. In Israel, you can pick them up for just about 4 shekels, which is a little bit under $1. $1 at the moment is 3 shekels 50. So that's an example of the containers. Now let's consider what one can do with the containers. Depending on the size of the container and what your goals are, in this particular container, I've put in a number of coins. And obviously, if you're going to be pouring those coins from one hand to the other, that's using bilateral integration. It's using the two hands together in the appropriate manner. Let's think of some other things that you can do with the money. If you're working with the hands together, that already gives you the opportunity to be, as I say, crossing the midline. You could do, depending on how you position the coins, where they're located. Bringing the two hands together to work cooperatively together. Also, you can be using the coins within the hand, so that by moving the coin from the palm up the fingers into the hand, that grip would be using the pincer grip, which is necessary for many tasks, for example, for writing, for drawing, for sewing. In many instances, we need to use the pincer grip, and of course you can then post it into the charity box, and each time that you do so would be another opportunity for using that grip. Let's think of a few other ways in which one can be using coins, buttons, and these containers. Of course, you can be doing counting. If you have a pile of coins on the one side, you could either have the child or the person. It's an activity that could be used for various different ages. Obviously not a very small child. You want the child to be of an age that they're going to be responsible and not be putting items like this into their mouth. So already from about a 5-year-old or so, you could be doing these kinds of activities. You could have the person count how many coins are stacked next to the charity box and then put them into the charity box if that's the task that's being done. So counting is one option. You can have them differentiate and distinguish between different coins. So let's have a look at a couple of different coins and see what the possibilities are. The 10 agarot coin, here I'm using the Israeli currency, but you could use any currency, and you could use a combination of currencies if you wanted to. So the 10 agarot and the 50 agarot, or the chetzi shekel, are different sizes. Both of them actually have a smooth side. If you're using any kind of identification marks for somebody with visual perceptual problems or visual problems, being able to differentiate size, color, any distinguishing marks by sensation are all important. In my right hand, you can see I have a shekel coin, which is very much smaller, and the 5 shekel coin has an interesting shape to it with a number of angles and sides, although it's a round coin. So there are a number of different things that one can look at with money identification, money management, color, size, counting, sensation we've already spoken about. Now let's have a look at a couple of things that one can do with buttons also. Here's another jar. It's the kind of jar that one might find perhaps in a kitchen. And of course you have the opportunity of having them opening and closing the container as well, which is a different kind of grip. That would be a cylindrical grip that one uses. And once again, if we're looking at how one opens a container, this particular one is a smaller. If you're looking at cylindrical grips, the person could be holding that container in their hand quite easily. Taking off the lid requires a different kind of grip. So you get the opportunity to have some variety of hand function that we're working with. Now, if you're going to be bringing in a container like this of buttons, just the mere task of taking the buttons out of the container would be using, as you can see, a pincer grip. This could be a tripod grip. You could be looking at, again, sorting different colors, different sizes, counting, differentiating between when it's a bead of some sort, a decorative item, or when it's a button itself. How many different holes does it have? So there are all kinds of things that one can do with buttons. And of course, aside from decorating containers, you could also make pictures with the buttons. So those are just a couple of ideas as to how one can use everyday items in a cost-effective manner. Buttons one often finds around, and it's an example of what one can do if you're developing an occupational therapy practice or a treatment room. These are kinds of items that you can use that have many varied benefits to them, and it's also items that you can find around in the home if you're needing to help your child or somebody who's older, whether they've had an injury or whether they're needing to improve hand function and fine motor skills. I hope that this short video has been beneficial. If you have any specific questions or you'd like other ideas as to what you could do with containers, with coins and with buttons, and actually we have one more idea over here of, I come from South Africa, aside from being in Israel currently, and in South Africa you get many different sized stones and semi-precious stones. So in this container we have a number of different sized stones of different colors, and that can also be used for sorting and for identifying size, a number of different ways. It gives you a lovely variety to texture. Of course, one can also consider stereognosis, being able to identify what kind of item is in the hand, whether it's a coin, whether it's a stone, whether it's a button. Just a couple more ideas for you. And once again, if you have any questions, do put a comment or a question in the comments below, and I'll be sure to pick up on that. If you'd like some other ideas of what you can do with items that you would naturally find around to be able to come up with creative, beneficial activities for your OT treatment room, or if you're a student for ideas for activities, or even if you're a mother at home and you're needing to come up with ideas, these are items you find around at home. So thanks for watching. It's Shoshana Shear from beahappymom.com, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.